In alhamdulillah wa salat wa salam ala wa rasulullah, we're continuing with the topic of what is the source of happiness for us as Muslims. I mean, we were created to worship Allah. We were put here on this earth to prove to Him that we truly do believe in Him and that we put Him before everything. Doing that, am I still able to enjoy the good things here in life and be happy? And if so, what is the source? What is the means? We already talked about money. If Allah gave me all the money in the world, or if Allah made me a rich person, would that guarantee me happiness in this life? We already answered that question. We've given examples to prove the answer. No, it does not. Okay? What about honor? What about educational achievement? That's what we spoke about yesterday. If I go to school and get a PhD or become a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, is that going to guarantee me happiness? We've given examples to prove that answer too, which is no. So it ain't money. It ain't educational achievement. What about if I was in a position of power, a position of leadership? What if I was a scholar, a politician, a president of the United States? Would that guarantee me happiness? We've given proofs to that too, that the answer is no. So today what we're going to do is investigate another source. Is it through fame? What about fame? What if I was famous? Would that guarantee me happiness in this life? Well, there are two ways in which most people become famous. Either through sports. How many of you know many people who got famous playing basketball or playing hockey? Or either you become famous through acting. That's usually, oh, I've seen her on TV. Those are usually the two ways in which people hit fame, sporting and acting. But how much happiness do these famous people really enjoy in life? What we're going to do today is take a brief look at each of these two categories and in turn determine if they really do bring about happiness. And we're going to begin with sports. Now, just to make a point, there's nothing in Islam that forbids you from playing sports. I want to answer that question before it even gets asked. Is it haram to be a basketball player? Is it haram to be a football player? No. There's nothing wrong with you playing basketball professionally or football professionally or any of that. Okay? In fact, guys, most of our Islamic forms of worship entail sports. When we pray, that's a workout. You're up and down, bowing, bending. That's a workout. When we make Hajj, you're walking back and forth. That's a workout. Okay? Islam encourages us to take care of our body. Islam encourages us to be healthy. There's nothing wrong with you taking yoga classes, as long as it's not entailing you being around men or women who are non-mahrams. I can do Pilates, and I do Pilates every day. I do yoga every day. I can work out, do aerobics, as long as it doesn't entail you violating any of Allah's commands, such as intermingling with the opposite sex, showing your body publicly. Some women like to put on these tight jogging suits and put a hijab on and go run around the block. Astaghfirullah, you're showing your body. You better put a jilbab on it. Okay? But there's nothing wrong with exercising or engaging in sports. In fact, Islam encourages this stuff. That's what the Prophet meant when he said the strong believer is better than the weak one. This is not only in regards to spiritually, but also physically as well. So physical exercises and sporting activities, are good things to indulge in, but I want you guys to understand that is for the body. And Allah does command us to take care of our bodies. Spiritual exercise is different. Spiritual exercise is when you exercise your brain in believing and learning about Allah. Okay? But just to answer the question about sports, there's nothing in Islam that forbids you guys from indulging in sports as long as the sport does not contradict any Islamic belief. Okay? Let's look at how people who make sports their career, how they perceive it. For them, many of them, that sport becomes a sort of religion for them. Okay? Basketball. How many of you hear basketball players say, LeBron and them say, this is my life. Basketball is my life. Okay? How many of you hear famous football players say, football is everything. If I didn't have it, I'd be nothing. So, what we need to do is ask yourself, do these people know the moderation that needs to be emphasized? Do you make that sport a religion for you, or should you strike a balance? Now, we do have a lot of famous football players who are Muslim, a lot of basketball players who are Muslim, a lot of sports people who are Muslim, and they do know how to strike the balance. You'll hear them say, this sport does not define me. My faith defines me. In fact, I heard one famous basketball player who's a Muslim guy. He said, yes, I'm Muslim. They asked him about playing basketball during Ramadan. Is it hard for you to train during Ramadan? He said, yes, it's hard, but I do it because it's my income. He said, but I want you to know that basketball does not define me. My faith defines me. And my faith is what gets me through the training too. So there are a lot of Muslim sportsmen out there who will tell you that. Also sportswomen. For example, the Muslim sister who won at the Olympics for what you call it, fencing. Fencing, the sister from New York. She said the same thing. I love fencing, but it doesn't define me. She said, my faith defines me. And through my faith, I'm able to persevere and come out a winner. Because so there are the Muslims who truly believe in Allah, they know how to strike the balance. They don't make that sport their religion. But so many non-Muslims don't know that. They don't know how to strike, the balance. Okay? And this is why you will end up reading in the newspaper things like 3 football playing veterans died of heart attacks during an international golden oldies. Or you will read something like a Cuban running star, Anna Carut, says she plans to quit from sports after the 1992 Barcelona Olympics because she wants to become a mother. I've been running for 15 years. I want to be a mother now. They don't know how to do both. How to strike the balance. Play the sports and still be a mother. Play the sports, still be a father. Play the sports and still believe in Allah. Like that famous basketball player can do. Like that famous sister in fencing can do. Okay? You'll read stories like Canadian sprinter Ben Johnson was stripped of the Olympic 100-meter title and world record after testing positives for steroid drugs. The sporting event becomes their way of life to the point where they'll even take drugs. They'll even take drugs to stay on top, to be in the limelight, to be the best at what they do. You'll read articles such as U.S. shot putter Jim Doering, ranked 3rd in the world, has been suspended for 2 years from the field after failing a drug test. They want to keep that I am the best. The Muslim athlete knows Allah is the best. I am not the greatest. The greatest is Allah. Allah has just gifted me with this gift to perform this sport that I can utilize to my benefit. As long as I keep that balance, understand that there's a balance between it and Allah. But until they figure that out, you will end up reading about them in the news like this. So thus, guys, sports, being famous in sports does not guarantee or bring about happiness. Look how many sport people commit suicide because they can't play that sport anymore, because they broke their ankle or broke their back or something like that. So it doesn't guarantee you happiness. So what about fame from acting? What about becoming famous due to acting? Is this the source of happiness? Most people equate happiness with fun. They feel like if it's fun, it'll make you happy. The truth of the matter is that fun and happiness have little to do with each other. I can have fun, but just because I'm having fun doesn't mean I'm happy. And I can be happy, but that doesn't mean I'm having fun either. Okay, we have to understand that fun occurs. Fun is what we experience during an action, whereas happiness is what we experience after the act. So I can have, for example, I'm riding on a roller coaster. It's fun. I'm having fun as we go up and down, up and down. And then when it's over with, I say, wow, that made me feel good. So happiness occurs after the action, not during it. Fun occurs while you're doing the action. Okay? Going to an amusement park, going to a baseball game, watching a movie. These are fun things to do to help you relax, to help you forget about your problems, to take you away on a nice temporary escape. They may even make you laugh. But these things do not make you happy. They're not long term. After the movie is over, guess what? Your problems are right back there. After you leave the amusement park, guess what? I'm back to reality. After you close that beautiful book, back to reality. So you cannot equate happiness and fun as being the same. You guys understand what I'm teaching here? Just because something is fun does not mean that you're happy. It's bringing you happiness. That fun thing is giving you a temporary escape. It's giving you a temporary escape. But it's not bringing you permanent bliss. And to prove what I'm saying, let's look at some celebrities who are actors and who are famous, or musicians or whatnot. For example, look at this. They just won't let this man die. Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley. When he died and they performed his autopsy, they say his body was reeked of drugs. He didn't die from a heart disease. He died of a mixture of drugs. He was so drug infested. Not just him, the same with Prince, Michael Jackson, all these famous celebrities, okay, who are actors, musicians, singers. Diane Cannon, she was divorced twice. She said, I'll keep on trying to get married until I get it right. This woman was 54 years old when she made that comment. I'll keep on getting married until I get it right. SubhanAllah, 54 years old. Famous actress, beautiful actress, but couldn't find love, couldn't find happiness, despite the fame. Also, here's another one, Kim Basinger. Kim Basinger, famous actress, beautiful, had it all going, but she was so into drugs and alcohol. In her own words, she said, when I came to Los Angeles, I said I want to take everything. I want to try it all. She was married for 8 years to makeup artist Ron Britton. Then they divorced. She later married one of the bald ones and ended up divorcing him as well. She was so drug-ridden. Okay? Also, look at TV comedian Jamie Lee Curtis, famous woman from a famous family. She says she doesn't like the kind of personal demand placed on women actresses. She said, many of us have children. I don't want those kind of demands placed on my life. So all that acting, it interferes in the way of her being a mother, a parent, and all of that. Like it interferes with others from being married and happily married and all of that. What about another famous? Billy Preston, pop singer. Remember, he was arrested in his Malibu home after a 16-year-old boy complained that he had been sexually assaulted by this famous singer. Also, another actor, Larry Kurt, died of AIDS. Cheyenne Brando, the 20-year-old daughter of actor The Godfather, Marlon Brando. She had a mental breakdown after trying to kill herself. Okay? Again, Michael Jackson, superstar, found dead from overdose of drugs. The list goes on and on and on and on. These people are famous. Everybody knows them. But did it bring that fame, bring them happiness? And look at more recent, Bill Cosby. How many of you grew up with Bill Cosby? I did. Used to love him. And the Cosbys. During the 70s, he starred in about a half dozen movies. He created, produced, and hosted the animated comedy TV series that I used to watch called Fat Albert. Hey, 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 it's Fat Albert. Okay? Then in the 80s, he produced and starred in the most popular show of all time, The Cosby Show. And that was rated the #1 show in America from 1984 to 1989. And that he didn't stop there. He then produced the spinoff, A Different World. And then he did the Cosby Mysteries in the 90s. And then the Cosby Show, he brought back the Cosby Show and from 1996 to 2000. And then he hosted, that show called Kids Say the Darndest Things. This was Bill Cosby. Everybody loved Bill Cosby, most famous man in the world. But look what happened to him. His career, his image became seriously damaged in the late 2000s. Why? He was accused of sexually assaulting over 60 women. They accused him of rape, getting them drunk, drugging them up, and raping them. He was accused of child sexual abuse. He was found guilty of 3 counts just recently in April. In April of 2018, which was just 3 or 4 months ago, he was found guilty of 3 counts of aggravated indecent assault. Whereas he was once an icon, he is now reduced to nothing. He even was stripped just recently, a couple weeks ago. He was stripped of his honorary degrees from the university that he claimed to support so well. Again, where he was once famous, once popular, he is now reduced to the level of a disease. So again, is true happiness attained or found in fame, from fame? The answer is no. So if it's not fame, it's not money, it's not power and prestige, it's not education, then what is the key to happiness here? How do we find true happiness? Well, in order to attain true happiness, You, as an individual, must first recognize the barriers that stand in the way of it. What are the barriers that stand in the way of you discovering what true happiness is? That's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. Once we uncover the barriers that stand in the way of happiness, only then can we determine what the source of happiness is. So make sure you guys are here tomorrow so we can go over these barriers. We'll stop right here for today. If you